Hey everybody, Daniel here. Thanks for joining us. This week, I've got a quick question for you. Have you ever wanted to get that silky smooth, effortless swing that's functional, that gives you that lovely strike through your irons and your driver? It's a kind of crazy question, isn't it? We all would love to do it, but so many of us at times find ourselves struggling to strike our irons and our driver consistently. And when we ever see our swing on camera, we have these kind of weird movements. The club comes around here and over here, or we start to get this kind of motion. We get loads of weird stuff. Well, in this week's training, I'm going to share with you how a couple of clients came to me with exactly the same kind of things. I think pretty not very attractive swings at the time, but by the time we finished, they were pretty lovely to look at, and at the same time, very, very functional. Really started to strike their irons much, much better. But the problem is they were missing one ingredient, and I'm going to share with you exactly what that ingredient is in this week's training. Before we do, if you are new to the channel and this is one of your first videos, consider subscribing. I release content like this every single week to try and help you improve your game. So what is this kind of ingredient? Very simple, it's the club face. Being aware of where this club face is at different points in the swing, particularly at the top of the backswing, is real key to be able to get a much more natural, effortless looking swing that strikes your shots far more consistently. Too many players that I'm finding when they're playing is this. They get to the top of the backswing and the club face is in what's an open position or a closed position. Let me show you what that basically means. So an open is where the club face is, for right-handers, is aiming to the right. Closed is where it's closing down, is aiming to the left for right-handers. What it looks like at the top is this. If you have an open face, the toe of the club is pointing down. A closed face is where the toe of the point is pointing directly towards you, and square is pretty much around about a 45-degree angle. From this position here, it looks like this. So toe is pointing down, is open, toe pointing that way is closed, and around about 45 degrees is pretty much square. So that's what we want to try and achieve. If you can get there at the top of the backswing, well, you're onto a winner. Problem is, you can't see it, can you? So how do you know when you're there? Well, you've got to start with the basics. You've got to get into a very decent grip first. So get yourself set. What we want to do is we want to help you form the perfect grip. So we get ourselves in position here, arms out in front of us. Now most people, unless you've got some injury, most people's hands turning around about 20, 30 degrees. That is how we grip the golf club. So from here, when we do that, we bring the club in, the lead hand or left hand here turns in this way. The right hand now goes on top here, on an angle here, and the turning in, the dovetailing each other here beautifully. Feel it in the fingers of the lead hand, left hand for right-handed golfers, and again in the fingers of the right hand. Do not sit them in the palm at all. Get them into the fingers there so they're turned in slightly here. This will give you the sensation of what is a neutral grip, and it'll give you the sense of where square is. Common mistakes when people are taking the club, quite really, really common. They put the club up like this, and from here, look, they've got their hand ready, and then they do this. They turn the hand and put the club in. It's like a habit. Now the problem is when you close it, where's the hand facing? Downwards, right? The back of the hand's facing downwards. We need to turn it in here. So we bring it in always at this angle here, and again at this angle. That means we start off with a very neutral grip. Nice and simple. From this position here, we then need to learn, well, how do we know where the club face is at the top of the backswing? So I've given you those three positions: square, closed, and open. Question is, how do you know where they are? Use your thumbs as a guide. So your thumbs, when they're on here, are on top of the golf club, right? This is square. Now, when you swing back here, okay, you want your thumbnails to be pointing pretty much towards you. Don't let the thumbnails point behind you. This would be open. If I point the thumbnails towards you, the club face is now closed. So try and get your thumbnails pointing much, much more towards, for right-handers, your right chest here. That's where you want the thumbnails pointing. If you've got the flexibility to get to the top of the backswing here, try and get your thumbnails here, or the thumbs itself, underneath the golf club. You lead from your left hand underneath the golf club here. This will give you an idea of square. Thumbnails pointing towards you would be closed. Thumbnails pointing towards back here would be open. Let's look at it from this angle. So watch this. If my thumbs are underneath, the club face is square. If I point my thumbnails this way, it goes close as the face. Open the face. Now this is really important. Why? Because your body is an absolute genius. And it will simply react and do whatever it takes to try and square the club face up in the downswing if it's incorrect on the backswing. So if you get to the top here and your club face is wide open, your body's going to do weird stuff. It's going to try and close the face, and this is why you get a lot of people, in a sense, coming over the top, because they're simply, the bodies are reacting and trying to do their best to square the face up. The closed face hitters, right? They're the cricketers. They get the club face closed at the top, and then they're driving the hands forward. They struggle to release the golf club, because you know what? If they release the golf club from a closed face, they'd simply hit it miles left. So feeling where the face is, which is really the crux of this video, will help you massively to hit the ball much, much straighter. And obviously, because you can't see it during the swing, we need to use a bit more feel, right? So thumbs are the guide. So let's have a look at this in action. So when I worked with a couple of clients this week, I said do it very, very slowly. So if you do it quick, you just won't be able to feel it, right? So you get yourself set, you feel where the thumbs are now, we've taken the grip. Make sure your grip's in good place first. Then what we're going to do, we're going to make a swing. Going to swing back here slowly, and then I'm going to test myself. Are my thumbs in the right position here? Yep, they're facing towards me. Underneath the shaft here, yep, have a look. Yep, pretty good, okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to slowly move up into that position here. Feel it, check it, go. That'll do, right? Now at this stage, I don't care at all about strike. I don't care about where the ball finishes. All I'm trying to do is learn the feel of where the face is, because for both of my clients, this was weird. They didn't feel good because they had their face in such bad positions at the top. When you finally moved into a much better, squarer face, it felt weird. For Simon, it was, he basically had his face wide open here. He actually felt, in order to get his thumbnails or thumbs underneath the club, he felt as though he was doing this. He felt as though he was almost rotating the club in the wrong direction. Was he really doing that? He wasn't, but it didn't matter. He felt like he was. That's how he did it. So it felt weird, but the difference in his swing was incredible. So when you work on this, if you find that your club face has been out, or when you work on this it feels a bit weird, it's gonna do for a little bit, right? It's gonna feel a little bit strange if your club face has been in a wrong position at the top of the backswing. So we get ourselves here, thumbnails point towards me here, thumbs under the club here, that feels where the club face is square, and then I can gradually work my way down without any manipulation or compensation. Underneath and through. Just taking my time, not worrying about strikes so much, just taking my time, getting a feel for that motion. So, let's summarize. Actually, one thing before I forget. One exercise I want you to do as a bit of a fun thing for the channel. So, Fred Shoemaker, coach I went to see a few weeks ago, gave us a great thing for feeling the club face. Thumbnails, work on that, but this is another fun thing you can do right now indoors. And I was useless at it, and I want you to let me know how good you are at it and see if you can beat me. So, get yourself set here. Spin the club around, and then grip the club, and I want you to guess where it is. Now that for me feels like it's wide open, like here. Do you know what, that's took me so long to get. When I did this for the first time, I was like rubbish, right? So I want you to test this out for yourself. Spin it around and see if you can feel where the weight of the club is. So it will really help you. This is just a great way of, in a sense, also feeling where the face is at any one time. Test it out for yourself. It's so, so difficult. Let me know if you do it first time, because you'll be 100 times better than me. So let's summarize. So step one, get the hands in position here so we've got a neutral grip. Turn them inwards and we're ready to go. Then simply this, use the thumbs as a guide to tell you where the face is. Look at this. If my thumbs are turned this way, then the club face is closed. If they're on the side here, it's open. On top, it's square. So when I'm here, I know that if it's underneath, that's square. Closed, open. How can I tell? Because I can feel where my thumbs are. All right, great way. And therefore, you don't have to make weird compensations in the golf swing, all right? So when we get to the top of the backswing, we'll get ourselves set, nice and slowly, feel it square, and then away we go. Hope you enjoyed this training. Big one, this one. Please share it with as many people as you can, a lot of your friends, because squaring the face at the top of the backswing, you'd be amazed at what it could do to the prettiness and the functionality of your golf swing. And of course, use the channel in one of your first videos. Come and join us next week by subscribing. But until next week, have a great golfing week.